Okay, guys, I know you excited about this big move to Arizona, but before you make the move, let's have a quick conversation. Listen, there are 5 mistakes people make when they are moving to Arizona, specifically when they're coming to the East Valley. So I want to go over those with you so you don't make these mistakes and have to deal with the drama. And when I say drama, I'm talking about the crazy HOA that is very restrictive. I'm talking about the backyards that you come here for the sunshine, but then you get cooked in your backyard. We want to take all of those things out and many other things. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about it right now. Okay, so let's talk about the East Valley and the cities. So obviously there are multiple cities in the East Valley. You have Mesa, Gilbert, Chandler, Queen Creek, and some other cities that are in the mix. But what happens is sometimes people move here and they think each city is the same. Let me tell you, they all have a completely different vibe. So one of the things we'll do is we'll have a conversation so I could truly get to know you so we can find the city that you can actually vibe with. Let me give you an example. Part of my job is to call expired listings and try to get more homes on the market that maybe if it didn't sell, I can sell it for that particular seller. So one of these days, a couple of weeks ago, I decided to make this call and I got myself an appointment to meet a seller over in Apache Junction. That's far east. Okay, so I am in this person's house and the first thing she tells me is, I hate it here. Now I thought she meant the house, but then as she kept going on, she meant Arizona in general. And so I asked her, I said, what got you to the point where you hate being here in Arizona? And she started telling me about how where she lives doesn't serve her and her family well. She has kids. The area that she's in doesn't like kids. She says there's always a problem with her neighbors. She says she can't live her life freely without having some neighbor drama. Actually, it was Gold Canyon. It wasn't Apache Junction. Well, the thing is, had I met her before, I could have told her that that area has a lot of retirees and snowbirds, so maybe it's not the best fit. If her big idea was family and things to do with family, we could have looked at Gilbert, we could have looked at Queen Creek, and we could have looked at Chandler to give her a better sense of family, education, school, everything like that. So listen, that was a big mistake, and now this particular person has a bad taste in their mouth for the state of Arizona, and they want to move to North Carolina. So she's like, I'm out of here. I'm going to the Carolinas. I want Southern hospitality. Well, I just want you guys to know hospitality is right here in Arizona, but you gotta know where to go. Let's go on to step number 2, or mistake number 2. Mistake number 2, this is falling for the house without paying attention to what's happening in the neighborhood. And I'm specifically talking about HOAs, okay? And I got a great story for you on this one. So some places in the East Valley have very strict HOAs, okay? And with these HOAs being so strict, you kind of feel like you're trapped. You can't live in this house that you just paid $500,000-$600,000 for, maybe $400,000 for. You feel like, hey man, this is my house. Why are you giving me the rules under my roof? Well, HOAs are difficult. Now, there have been some laws that changed that says HOAs can't be as restrictive. Now, there are a couple of communities that are grandfathered into those laws, but a lot of these newer ones, they can't enforce a lot of the things that they try to enforce. So let me give you an example, okay? I have a client I helped a couple of years ago, and she was a renter at that time, but she still had to follow the HOA rules. And one of the issues that she was facing was if she had company come over, she had to inform the HOA who was coming over, how long they were staying, what type of car they were driving, and they couldn't stay more than 2 days. Now, guys, how many of you have family events for the holidays, right? And you know your family coming, they gonna stay 4 days, you're gonna make a blast of it. They might stay a week. Or if you're like me, you have a mother-in-law and she comes and she just moves in. No, she's here for like a couple of weeks because she wants to be with the grandbabies, right? So I'm sure that these are things that are going to happen in your life. And you need to know that some of these HOAs are ridiculous, but a lot of them are so brand new that they don't have those rules. And so my goal is to get to know you a little bit better so I can help you avoid that drama, because you want to make your move smooth and you actually want to have the best of what Arizona has to offer, not this one-off situation from the one community in that one neighborhood. All right, guys, let's move on to the next one. Okay, sometimes people get fixated on a specific neighborhood, and in that neighborhood, they'll almost buy anything they can get their hands on, and that typically ends up being a house with a west-facing backyard. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with buying a west-facing backyard. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but you do need to know what to expect. So west-facing backyards are going to be the hottest yards. That's where the hottest part of the day is, and the sun is beaming on all of your windows, on all of your patio furniture, your artificial turf, because you're not putting down real grass here. I mean, you can, but it's a little bit more difficult, okay? So that sun is beaming down and you are literally getting cooked, okay? So we can help you avoid buying these west-facing lots, or if we just happen to find the right house and it has to be that neighborhood, I got a team of landscapers that can cool that backyard off for you. A lot of my clients end up putting in misters, or they'll put the aluminum wood structure to give some shade, and they'll put some big Indian column laurels to kind of block that sun in the hottest parts of the backyard. And then you always can put in a pool, right? But we just need to be smart about the purchase. Like, if we're going to go with that house, I want to just make sure you know that this is going to be the hottest house, and we need to take some steps to ensure that you can live in this home comfortably, because that heat will make your utility bills go up. You're going to run the AC more. You're going to try to do everything possible to cool that house down. But I got a lot of tips for you in another video on that. And we'll call it Surviving Arizona Summers. How about that? Let's move on to the next one. Tip number 4, trusting the builder without having your own agent present. Listen, you have to remember this. When you walk into a new construction office, the agent that's in the office does not work for you, and they do not have your best interest at hand. They represent the builder. Doesn't mean that they're mean people. A lot of them are extremely nice, but they are always going to focus on doing what their job is, which is making the builder a profit. Now, as your agent on this side of the transaction, I'm going to look at everything objectively. I'm going to make sure that the HOA rules are the HOA rules. The cost is the cost. Are they overpriced? What did the last home sell for? You'll be surprised to see that you will go on contract on a house and you think you got a phenomenal deal, okay? And then you find out that the appraisal is $16,000 off, $20,000 off. And if you're not reading that contract, a lot of the contracts will say, hey, it doesn't matter what the appraisal says, it's still on you, and we'll keep your earnest money if you back out. And you have to make a decision. Do I want to lose this $5,000, or do I want to take a $500,000 butt kicking? I lose the $5,000. I'm not going to take a $500,000 butt kicking, okay? The $5,000 is a lesson. Move on. But I will say this, when you have the right agent in your corner, these are things that we can avoid. That's tip number 4. You get with the builder and they just do not take care of you the way they promised in the beginning. Let's move on to tip number 5. Tip number 5 is the most important one. You're going to fly here to Arizona, and a lot of people will fly here without a plan. They come and they treat it as a vacation, and a lot of these people will miss out on their dream house, okay? I don't want you to do that, all right? So what we're gonna do is have a conversation before you ever take that flight. That way, I can narrow a search for you based on everything that you like. I'm not the type of agent that's going to just give you 100 houses and send them to you and then you go through each and every one. No, my job is to eliminate a lot of these houses that we know don't make sense for you. So when you land here in Arizona at the Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, or you could come down to Mesa Gateway, okay? That'll get you right here in Queen Creek, maybe within 10 minutes. But it is kind of central to the East Valley. but that'll get you here, and that'll put you in a position where we can start looking for the right home at the right price immediately, right? So come here with a game plan. Hey, I want to knock out this many houses in this day, and these are the exact houses I want to look at. I'll give you an example. I just had a client come in from California, and as we talked over a few days, he was trying to figure out what he wanted, and then he narrowed it down and say, hey, Lamarr, I want a 4-bedroom, 2,200 square foot with a pool. I won't buy a house without a pool. So once we had that conversation, that knocked out all the new construction opportunities for him, because he said it's important for him to get the house with the pool and not wait, because he's coming in the summertime, right? And he has some grandbabies that want to jump in this pool. Now, in his scenario, we ended up finding a house that was perfect. Listen, we only looked at a small amount of houses, 4 to be exact. 4 to be exact, based on his price range and based on what we know he likes about the home. So when he got here and we got to that house, it was the second house we looked at, he knew as soon as he walked through the door that that was his house. We looked at all the houses on our list, but every time we walked into a house, he ended up comparing it to that house. So we went and toured it again that same day. So you see how that saves you time instead of going all around? I mean, there are at least 10 other houses that match the criteria, but in this scenario, that house hit everything on his list. So we went back to that house and he loved every single bit of it. And he told me, Lamarr, I don't want to look no more. This is it. This is my house. And that's what we want to do for you. Okay. So we'll find you the right neighborhood, the right lifestyle, the right price, and we'll save you time and be very efficient with how we maneuver it. Okay, guys, so those are my 5 tips that I have for you. So if you're ready to take the plunge and move on over here to Arizona and join the East Valley community, give me a call or shoot me a text. I'm available to you all the time. Just reach out and I'd be happy to get you set up with an appointment so we can figure out your needs and make a game plan that makes sense for you. And listen, don't worry about the time frame. If you need to move fast or you're 6 months to a year out, it's fine. All we need to do is get a game plan and we'll refine it over the time. I look forward to seeing you on the next one.